Wonderful. Welcome to Fair Trends and Following Winds. Today, my guest is Ann Carden, business growth consultant. 76% of coaches have trouble breaking that 10,000 a month mark for their income revenue. And that's because they get stuck in that initial routine that they build for getting clients. This can create a problem because they're on a merry-go-round, they can't get off it, and they hit a plateau. On top of that, they're stuck in this evident where they lose clients to attrition, and so they're riding an uncertain roller coaster of revenues. So enter Ann, and she who knows firsthand how people have gone to costly advisors to no avail, and it's very frustrating and very expensive. She's taken what she's learned and figured out on her own and given it to her students. Her testimonials speak volumes. Working with her, I think, is like working in an intensive program because she's focused on multiplying your business and then recovering more free time, which we all
Yes.
love. Her secret sauce, getting clarity on goals, who you serve, what you offer, but then leveling up to recurring revenues, credibility, and visibility. So let's jump in. And welcome. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much, Jan. I'm so honored to be here. It is such a pleasure.
Oh, well, I mean, it's just neat what you do. I'm so impressed with the kind of coaching practice business model that you have. So
you.
let's let people understand a little bit about what this is like, because as I said, I don't think any of the titles do it justice, because once I started getting into your 4 steps and then all the way through and looked at what's in your visibility and credibility program, I was really impressed, and I can see exactly why this is so successful, and those testimonials, the myriad of testimonials, are so good.
Well,
So
thank you.
let's start. Let's get into the 4 steps to
Mhm.
building that high end. Now we're talking high end coaching business.
Yes. Yes. So a lot of people tend to go down the path of, sell something lower ticket. I was taught all of those strategies,
Right.
bring in clients at lower fees, or even bring in clients for free. And then when you start getting them results, you can, now you can start charging them, and all of those strategies that are being taught in the industry. And it just didn't work to ever get me to the levels that I wanted to get to, or that I even knew my expertise could be utilized
Wow.
in the way that it could. And so I was very frustrated with the industry. So I took a step back and I said, all right, I am going to figure this out, or I'm getting out, because I invested hundreds of thousands of dollars into trying to crack the code in the industry. And once I did that, I basically, the model that most people are learning, I flipped that model upside down. So most people are taught low to high, sell something low, ascend
Mhm.
people to high. I started looking at, where is your expertise, your experience, your knowledge, your skills? Nobody was looking at that and saying, wow, that is worth a lot of money. You don't need to start out with something low. You can start right at the top
Wow.
and leverage everything that you know. And so I flipped that whole model. And so I have a very top-down approach in my business, and it's the same thing that I teach my clients. And it's why I've been able to take many of them from a couple $1,000s to getting $40,000 and $50,000 clients. I just had a client, a newer client. He hadn't even launched yet, closed a $150,000 deal, and he's got more on the back end coming. So
Oh.
it really does come down to understanding how to put the pieces together
Mhm.
to be able to get paid what you deserve to get paid. Because if you have been building your business, like if you've been in a career, or you have even been in your business for a very long time, you have acquired a lot of knowledge and skills that other people, and experience that other people don't have.
Mhm.
And you should not undervalue that. And most people will tell you that, price what you're worth. I don't like that wording, by the way. I think we're worth more than anybody's ever going to pay us. So price what your services are worth, and for the value of your services. But most people still don't leverage that in the way that they can. And
I
so that
think
was
a
my pushback.
I think a lot of coaches are stuck in that hourly model. And
Oh my goodness. Yes.
there's
The
only
broken
so
model.
many hours in the day. So as
Mhm.
you say, when you flip this on its head
Mhm.
and you go, what's my value? And the other thing I
Yes.
like is you talk about focus on one core. Maybe you can talk about that a little bit too, but I think
Yes.
flipping that is my game changing.
Yes. So I teach people how to really focus on one core offer that they can go all in on. And then you build out your revenue model from there. So my method is expert in you, which is what we're walking through here.
Right.
The 4 steps. That is my method. I help people bring in really high-end clients and scale their business to that $1 million or more, but I help them do it with freedom because they can do it with a handful of clients. They don't need hundreds and thousands of people with the way that I teach them to build. So that's my whole model. And that's what I help people do in their business is figure out what is going to be your sweet spot. What is going to be that value that you bring to the market that you can go all in on and you know you can deliver and you're confident and you've done it before and you get great results. Even if that was in a career, I work with a lot of people coming out of corporate that want to get started and they've gone down the path of selling $97 thing in a Facebook group. And I'll say, well, what was your background? Well, I was a doctor. I'm a doctor. I have a PhD in technology. Well, I'm sorry, you don't need to be selling a $97 thing in a Facebook group. So, but that was my frustration with the market. It was like, no one looked at that and said, oh, wow, Ann, you've built 5 businesses and sold them. And you've worked what, you've coached thousands of people. No one looked at any of that.
Wow.
And so it was through that I said, people are not getting paid what they deserve to get paid for all that career collateral that they've built up, for all of that expertise. So we build out the revenue model from there. So you'll have your really high one-to-one type of clients. These are going to be your more customized clients. And then from there, you can have your one-to-many. But most people are teaching group programs to scale, but they're teaching a few $100s a month to scale. I keep you still at a very, very high level. So a $30,000 group program, a $50,000 group program, it can be even more than that.
So I think this is really important for people to understand because one of the things that you talk to people about is they think they're just doing this one thing, coaching the same kind of coaching on an hourly basis. But you're starting to talk about the recurring revenues aspect of this. And that's what really rang the bell for me and resonated because it's like, okay, let's layer in these other kinds of revenue. So when you talk about one-to-many, you're talking about taking the one-to-one coaching and now expanding it into, even though it's from one core product,
still your one core offer. Yes,
you're
it's
offering
just a
it
different
to
level.
more people so that you have a new revenue stream that's in the multiples because you've layered this next thing, and that's genius.
Yes, so that would be like the next tier down. And then I also teach how to have really compelling, I call them can't resist offers. So having really compelling front end offers that are really a no-brainer for people. And then you can sell those all day long, like they're rinse and repeat. So that might be a $10,000 offer.
Oh, yeah.
Where you're doing a quick result with someone, and that could be a very quick program. The problem I found, Jan, is people either, first of all, they weren't doing the really high end things anyway. But what I find is a lot of people are doing the rinse and repeat quick result offer, but they have nothing on the back end to keep people. And so it's churn and burn business, right? And
I see this a lot.
there. It's a grind. It's a grind.
Yeah, people will do a course, but then there's nothing after it, right? Here's a short 5 to 7 day email course, but then where does it go? You're not taking them to the next level or to the next age, the development for their business. Yeah. So this is really important because it's not just recurring revenues, it's the life cycle of the customer. Now you're addressing the next thing and the next thing with the same customer.
Yes. And here's the thing. I was taught that model, build a 90-day program when I came into the coaching space, build a 90-day program, sell that. And I just found that to be a grind. And here was my biggest frustration with it. I was not getting to serve my clients the way I knew I could. because I had all of this business expertise. So what was happening is after 90 days, they were going on their merry way because I didn't have anything to sell them. And then I was watching them undo with the next coach
Oh my God.
what we had done, even though it had worked when they were with me. But then when they got out, and they needed, my point being, they needed more. And
Right.
so I like to tell people now I'm an A to Z coach. I stay with you. I teach you everything. There are no limits. I have clients that have been with me for years. There are no limits to business evolution, right? And so then when you get to one level, you've got another set of problems that you need
Right.
help with. And a lot of coaches maybe don't have the experience or the in-depth knowledge to be able to do that. And that's why they do the churn and burn programs. But it's just not the model I teach my
No, because you're
clients.
always having to find new people, right? You're
Yes,
not,
but you also aren't serving them in the way that you can either. I mean, I just don't feel like teaching people a marketing strategy is teaching them how to build a business.
right.
We see this a lot: build a Facebook group, sell people in the Facebook group. Where is that teaching people how to really build a business? That's
Well,
not.
yeah, I mean, and when you talk about leveling up, it's not just about increasing the cost of your current program. It's beginning to bundle
Mhm.
and give more value to your current program. And
Yes.
that's what earns these bigger dollars. So I,
Yes.
I
It's
think that's a
it's
really key point to your magic, is you're like, you've got all this that if you put it together, you could
Mhm.
get a lot more money. So I,
Right. And there's no limit to what you can create. I mean, you can create wealth with business, you can build it to sell. There's so many avenues that you can go down, but it's like nobody's really teaching that in the way that they
mhm.
can. And so that was my pushback. That's really why I wrote my book. I wrote my book out of frustration.
Oh,
So yes, I was like, there's something wrong in this industry. Like this just isn't making sense to me. So the very first part of my program is we have to create a revenue model that is going to, number one, give you the
mhm.
fees that you deserve to make, high fees so that you can grow your business faster with a handful of clients, and also have a sustainable business
Well,
and know
and
how to get.
add in that automation feature that helps give you more free time. This whole rinse and repeat concept, I
Yes, so
think.
that's definitely part of the revenue model too. So
Mhm.
you will still have your custom clients. You will probably, the way I teach people is they might want 4 or 5 or 10 customized clients, but then where do they go from there, right? They can't keep tapping out. They can't keep maximizing their time like
Mhm.
that. So now they need to take that same thing and they need to bring it down a level. And so there's all kinds of ways that I teach them how to build
Right.
out a revenue model. But yeah, so that's the first part, is let's get a model that's going to help you hit your goals. Most people will say, this is what I think I'm going to charge, and oh, I hope I hit $1 million. That it doesn't work that way.
Right.
What
So
about, yeah, go ahead.
let's walk through an example of scaling. If you could pick out of
Mhm.
all the myriad of people that you've helped, maybe give people an example of how you helped one person scale their business. And then I want to
Yes.
get into your visibility and credibility program.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once you know what you're going to be selling, you need to have great marketing, a great marketing system and sales system that's rinse and repeat.
Mhm.
And then you want to build a team. You might bring in a small team, automation, all of those things go with scaling. So I had a client who came to me. He was a referral from a past client, and he had been trying for 6 months to launch his business, and he was not getting anywhere. He got 0 calls. He wasn't getting any traction. His goal was to work with chiropractors. And the interesting thing is he had a machine. He had a product, which I normally don't work with people that have
Mm,
products. But
okay.
for this particular person, because of the product that he had, which was like a healing product, and it was a great machine, I said, okay, we can't, if you go out and just sell the machine for $5,000 or $7,000 or whatever it was, you're only going to make so much money, and that's churn and burn. But what if you consulted these physicians, but that's who he was selling it to, the chiropractor.
Mhm.
What if you consulted their teams, educated their teams on how to sell this service, gave them the marketing piece? So we created this whole package that was like $28,000. And he determined for this, and it's going to be different for everybody. And I really want to hit on that because marketing, cookie cutter marketing doesn't work. Depending on who your clients are, depending on where they are, people need different types of marketing. So for him, he decided he was going to do trade shows where chiropractors would come and there were vendors, and it worked really great. We built out the marketing system. We built out the sales system. We recreated the offers. We worked out financing. So when a doctor bought, the finance company paid him in full, which is one of the strategies I teach people, paid him in full, and then they paid the company. So they financed basically through the company. Well, because of that, he went from zero to almost $1 million in a year.
Wow.
Because it was rinse and repeat.
Incredible story. Incredible story.
But the same thing can be done online. So I work with people online or offline or merge the two worlds. I'm not one or the other. Yeah.
And it does make sense. I mean, for some people, trade shows is the way to go. And absolutely, it's just, makes sense to kind of fit the right model for them. And that's what gets that big success. That's super to hear about. Well, so let's go in and tell everyone about your visibility and credibility program, because that's extensive, which is why I can see that it would work so well for people like that customer that you described.
Yes. So my credibility and visibility, that kind of came about as I was helping people elevate their expertise and be seen, and helping them build their brand and be seen online and get clients. And if you want to get high level clients, they have to see you as an expert and authority. That's how you will get high level clients. So my credibility and visibility is all around helping you elevate your expert brand to stand out in the market as the only one who does what you do. So you basically make your competition irrelevant, and you can you can attract those high-end clients. So it's the marketing piece, but it's also the visibility piece. And then we can do a book for people. We can get them featured on syndicated podcasts. We can get articles published for them, get them featured on a magazine cover. All of that is part of a package that we offer in addition to my coaching, because they might want those things.
Well, it's just so amazing, because as we both feel really good about these kinds of things. You wrote the 27 ways to help. And then at the same time, I published this year 30 ways to leverage other people's platforms. So it's like we're so in sync with how we feel about people need to expand their visibility and their credibility this way, because nothing's better than someone else talking about you or being on someone else's platform that gives you more credibility. So I just love this program, and the fact that you've got a 60-day program. So it's like, we're going to get you these results in 60 days, right? We're going to, this is not one of those things where we keep you on retainer forever and ever, and you don't, the deadline keeps
the
slipping.
coaching to stay on retainer to keep growing their business. But as far as the
project has
60 days.
Has a goal. And I love that. So there's so many things in there that people need to get the book. She's got several books out. She's going to be writing another one here, but Expert in You is a game changer and a wake-up call.
It's a good blueprint to get you started.
It is, and it does cover her 4 ways. So, Anne, you've got a masterclass coming up in October. You want to talk about that?
I would love to. Thank you so much. So I am doing a step into the spotlight and sell, or step into the expert spotlight and sell high-end client services and programs. And it's about scaling to $350,000 and beyond with high-end clients and programs. So I'm actually merging the visibility, credibility piece in this workshop, and showing them kind of soup to nuts how to not only create the high-end programs, but also how to get visible, how to be seen. It is a workshop, So we're doing the work in there. My goal is that they will walk away with as much as they can walk away with that I can do in that two-day event. So get them
Incredible.
on the road to being able to grow their business.
So what are the dates?
The dates are the 17th and 18th of October. I just want to make sure I'm telling you right. Yes.
Okay.
Tuesday and Wednesday.
And do
the
they go
time-
to AnnLCarden.com to sign up?
That's my website if you do
Okay.
want to check me out or check anything out. But the workshop is expertinyouworkshop.com.
Okay. Expertinyou.workshop.com.
Workshop.com.
That will be in the show notes. So thank you so much. 20 minutes goes by so fast.
I know it does. Thank you.
Thank you. It's been great. And I think people will hopefully get a lot. They need to do more to kind of look into your book and materials to kind of really understand it. But you offer a lot of free learning materials that
Lots.
people can work with.
Yes.
So absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you again. And we'll keep this going. Thanks. Bye. Okay. So